Alright guys, I just want to do a quick midday recap before I lose some with you guys over lunch. Just while it's fresh in our heads, you know, INSM gave us two really good opportunities today, two really good trades. And so let's go over these really quickly. I'm going to use a lot more detail as usual in our end of day webinar in terms of the full, spectrum behind the trade and what we were looking at. But just a quick recap, guys. First position today. Now, I was open to both sides of INSM. I want you to know that I didn't come into this one with a short bias today. The chart told me to go short. Okay, so as you guys know, pre-market, this one was running up with some good volume. We put in a couple peaks. There's actually a good little long setup right there. Like a nice little pattern to get long in this area right here, and it broke through. I didn't trade it in pre-market at all, but turns out the absolute high of day for this one was in pre-market, and that was around right there at around 29.86, right? I thought that this was too extended for a long anyways off the open, but I would have been interested, there's a couple things that could have got me interested in a long. One is that if we flushed off the open, which we did, like this, and then if we were to kind of start to recover, it would have needed to get over 28.50 and then start to curl. So that is a pattern that might have got me interested. But when it dumped off the open as quickly as it did, and then kind of put that lower high in, and then again, guys, we kind of identified that 27.30 was going to be a bit of an area because pre-market it was a breakout spot. So I usually look left to figure out what I'm going to do on the right side, which is going forward. So looking at that 27.30, it did provide some short-term support as we anticipated. Here's where things get kind of interesting. It held a few times for a few minutes. It did break through one time, kind of a trap there. This is one of those areas, guys, where I wouldn't short that candle because of the size of the move we just saw. So the way that this made sense for me was to short into a spike, and I just thought that any spike towards 50 EMA and VWAP would be a good place to start. And on this trade, I kind of waited for those shorts to get trapped under 30, and then as it reclaimed and bounced, I just shorted into that spike. I didn't take a huge amount of size, but it actually gave us a really nice trade. So I started at 27.66. And I was basically going to risk off 80. So I was going to give it 14-cent risk, okay? Right away, it rejected. It started to look good on this lower high. I actually would have been okay to add. This is one of those situations where I would have actually been okay to short more into 27.30. I decided not to, though. I just wanted to keep a good average and work it out. So the covers I took on INSM were, I took some off pretty quickly at 27.40 just in case there was, a higher low down there or something, just to make sure we get paid a little bit. And then basically I took the rest off at 26.79. So I took it, just took a quick trade on it. Although it was almost a point, so a really nice trade, 27.79 and or 26.79, and then kind of waited for another setup to form. So this one, just let it do its thing, right? Put a higher low in, let it spike. We were looking a lot at the 5-minute chart on this one, trying to identify some good support and resistance areas. So the second trade I took was at 27.30, again, the same main spot. So I wanted to see, guys, first of all, if it would retest 27.30 and reject it, because usually a nice support area like that can then become a good resistance, right? So, but one thing I'm glad I didn't do was aggressively short right into it. And again, the only really reason I didn't do that was because I thought that we made a pretty big move here and it might just need a bit more of a measured correction. So I avoided shorting into the 30 area. I think the 50 area would have been a lot safer to short into, which I mentioned in chat as a possibility. But I kind of wanted just to wait for a little more confirmation. Make sure that that 27.30 is going to become resistance and going to break before we got back in. So I kind of let it do its thing here. Chopped around. And just in this area right here, just when it kind of broke, this is where I shorted it, just right before that crackdown, and 27.30-ish was the average I got. Took a little in the 20s and some in the mid 30s, so yeah, around a 27.30 average. Then it broke, and this is the key. It tested and rejected, and that was when I was fairly confident we could actually ride this one out for a really good trade. So this was a much bigger trade for us. I wasn't as quick to cover on this one. I was more confident in it because, again, it had more of a measured bounce. Now it kind of had more time to catch up in this area. Wasn't as, I thought this was more of a quick scalp, let's get out for, 80, 90 cents or whatever, and then look for a better trade. So this one, I was really a lot more patient with the exits. 27.30 entry. First cover for me was 27.02. So just right there at the $27 mark. And then 27.89. 27.79. And finally, the last bit I held all the way out for 25.88. So right in this area here. So overall, guys, really, really good, solid start to the month, to the day, to the week. I'm not going to push it this afternoon. I think that between those two trades, there's no reason why we shouldn't be nicely in the green. Had a really nice day made for ourselves here. The beautiful thing about these two trades, as usual, is just using our timing points and triggers to reduce the risk, and basically there was zero pain. Neither trade was it even for a second for more than a minute against us. It was kind of like instant gratification, and just all it takes is some patience to wait for the right setups and hit them when the time is right. So for example, I mean, you could have got in early on INSM at 30, then had to sit through a bunch of pain and questioning whether it's going to work. If it puts a high or low, you take a loss, it breaks out. So I kind of feel like we timed these trades really well, really good start to the week and the month. If you have any further questions about these trades, remind me before the end of day webinar today, and I will be sure to cover them in a bit more detail. But I'm expecting big things going forward in September, guys. A lot more big trades like this. So you guys will be glad that you stuck it out for last week, kind of sized down a bit. So I'm really looking forward to moving forward with this type of volatility and momentum. Hopefully it keeps up, guys. So again, thanks for a great morning, and we'll talk to you soon.